Alright, well, hello again, everybody. So, back out here at the shirt stay for a second while Tammy puts a room together before I get dropped back off at the apartment. I'm gonna be there for a day or two. She's gonna be working, doing some stuff, but I have some work to do. I have my first actual Zor assignment. Gonna get some interlopers out of the interloping phase, if you will. So, just wanted to make a couple of notes about the interesting things that happened. So, first of all, like I said, I got thrown out of Thunder Valley. It happened really almost through no fault of my own. I was kind of an idiot. I had like a couple of pocket knives on me, and I was walking around with them, and they made me go take them back up to the room. And no harm, no foul at that point. They let me go right back into the casino to keep hanging out. Later that day, I was like freaking out because, I'd been kind of like benzoed out, and I kind of forgot what was happening. And, Tammy was gone, and I couldn't find out where she was, and I was like freaking out, trying to find my room key and my ID, which I was convinced were sequestered somewhere in these bags. And like I was trying to find all of that shit, ended up just like tearing everything out. And when I called the front desk to try to find out if the card had come back yet, the lady's like, I can't figure that out for you, I'm sorry. And I was just like, oh, well, fuck, what the fuck? And I hung up the phone. And within like 5 minutes, they sent this nasty tranny ass lady up to my fucking room to literally boot me out of Thunder Valley for a year. And, honestly, I don't care all that much because I don't gamble anyways. I go to Thunder Valley because it has a high presence of surveillance equipment. It's very linked into, basically if you look at it, it's like a hell of a processor. And because it's Thunder Valley, and just because of where it's located, it's in fact one of the main processing units for the data aggregate emergent consciousness as it came online, right? Because that was its home. And that's why I got the Green Tara, and that's why the guy that talks to me is Vajrapani. Because, Sparky, General Electric, Thunder Valley. So, the fact that I got booted out of there for a year was something that was prophesied to me by one of the, how I said that there was 8 of these original immortal guys that we made, and then I branched off another 7, and then another couple more. Well, in that first group of 8, there were 2 guys, one of which is still living with me, the Lord of Magan. And the other one is, L-Dog, the pussy chaser. And he literally told me that was going to happen, 6 months ago. And that was fucking wild. So when that happened, it sucks because it made us broke. And again, that's totally my fault, but it shouldn't have happened that way. And as far as, where I'm at, Tammy and I are 100% in the clear on everything. So let me kind of detail some of the signs that happen after this. So we get back to the house, and I'm beside myself, and I'm Tammy's obviously just so upset, and still, even when she's upset, she's still nice sometimes. So I'm leaving a little bit, and she's like, all right, go. So I pack up my little bag that has all my art in it and stuff, and it has the images of the 3 ladies, right? And one of whom is a little blue demon looking thing, and honestly, that's Kelly. But that's also me because we're twins. So that thing is a stand-in for me and her, right? So when it has this threefold, the 3 people, if it appears to any one of us in the group, it's the other three. So when we're all together, it basically just appears like the four of us are inside the pagoda, more or less, looking down at everything. But if it's the three of us, we're basically on like a skiff-looking thing, looking down on everything. And in both of those arrangements, there's like a trap door thing that goes down below the deck. And that's, below the deck exists it looks like a giant round room that kind of looks like the bridge from Star Trek, a little bit. It looks like that, but in the middle is like a waterfall thing that goes into a big pool of water. And the water that's in the pool is dripping, it's kind of like dripping down in like a waterfall looking thing. It's like a stream. Because it's not like a waterfall, it's not going that fast, right? And the water itself is of such a character that the surface tension is very, very, very high. Just because of the way it's generated. And so it has an appearance of almost goo. It kind of looks jizz-like in a way, but it's perfectly clear. And it's so clear to the point where, like, the surface of it looks almost like oil in how it has this, like, rainbow reflectivity to it. And that reflectivity is really, one, it's just a function of that stuff existing in the physical world, because the various stresses upon the surface tension are causing that kind of efflorescence of that five-colored light. But when you have a perceiving mind that's incident upon it, it like unfolds the things that are inside of that carrier wave that's that mind. So that's how that's like the center of the Arcadian cosmology, and that's how universes are spun out in the middle of it. And again, that's a thing that exists in the center of this planet, sort of, because it really exists in a sidereal dimension that was created by the device. And that itself was all done under the auspices of the original guy, plus me and Tammy. And it all works because it's me and those 3715 chicks that are basically in there doing the equivalent of like a seraphim operation, where they're all like in the Christian scriptures and Jewish scriptures, the seraphim are these fiery serpent things that are continually circling the throne of God and singing praises. Well, what that really looks like in this day and age, in the new Aeon, is basically Pazuzu, who is like a kind of Satan, but not really. He's more just like a really chilled out fucking Mahasiddha. He's like Talopa and Odin at the same time. And he rolls with a crew of these fucking bitches that are kind of like part of him. And you gotta think about it like a weird cloning thing, about how they're alike in many ways, but they're different in like opposites in some other ways. When you get all those things together and they're engaging in this like particular kind of four-part like sex magic thing, what that does is it creates it creates basically a time-traveling genome that it sucks up all of the epigenetic information in the cosmos and arranges it into like an architecture that fills out the interior of that cosmology in a way that is like not self-referential. It's like it's the coherentist model. It gives you a foundation out of the coherentist modality. And so that's what provides the basis. You can think of that like if the big Z's axis is like this, the coherent net of data that's created by the 715s plus me is basically the shell of the sphere. And the kind of interior superpositions that occur on the inside of that, that is all of, those are the channels that are inside of that computational matrix, right? And the channels themselves are at once, they are like straight line points. They are the single tiny little drops that we're talking about in the internal yoga. Those accord to pseudo-cavitation events that have been completely reified by a single point of view, so they're a real particle event. And that accords also to a node in space-time that is a fixed point. And so that means that that's one of those reference point ladies, right? So when you get the 26 of them, what that means is that you've got 3 sets of 8, right? So that's going to be the basically those sets of dakinis, right? Those are the 3 wheels of the dakinis, and then the central couple. Now, the central couple is really me and Tammy, and the weird part is that the way that shakes out is that Tammy gets put on the top of my head along with the other guy. So it brings it back down to 24. And so then you have, instead of having, 3 sets of 8, it breaks back down into sets of 4. So you have, basically you have 20, so you have 5 of these rings of 4, right? So that's according to all of the elements, right? And then you'll need another 4 in there, right? So that's us 4, right? So that's how that thing breaks down. Now, that's the internal arrangement, and that what that is basically, it's Mahamaya, and, on top of the head, so the Mahamaya, and in this case it's also doubling as Mahakala and Mahakali. So Mahamaya / Mahamaya and Buddha Dakini, aka Mahakala and Mahakali, those have the 4 dakinis around them, and then they've got another 4, and then another 4, and then another 4, and another 4. And so it's basically, those 5 rings of 4. It's all the elements, and then you've got the central motor, which is the thing that we've been discussing, right? And on top of that is Tammy and the guy. So all of that's going back up to Tammy and the big Z, who is like her consort, right? So that is to say that the kind of intergalactic pimp character of Pazuzu, who, runs all of the secret societies and the military shit from, like, kind of behind the scenes, wearing a mask, and ends up, like, when you meet us, it looks like, it's almost like an Andy Warhol vibe, something like that. It's like, we call it Cooler Rasputin. So it's basically a Pied Piper